Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is the Archetype Learning Solutions channel. My name is Danielle Lord. I am the founder and principal of Archetype Learning Solutions. And on this channel, we talk about all things employee engagement. Our strategy is simple: engage everybody every day through quality daily interactions. And I like to go a little bit deeper into some of the psychology and human behavior that we sometimes struggle with when it comes to employee engagement. Because oftentimes we say, well, just do this or just do that, but we don't get into the understanding of the how, the why, and the what can go wrong. So that's what I like to do as we explore employee engagement. So this is going to be a short video, but I wanted to address something that I talked about a couple of weeks ago. And so I had heard from some hospital leadership folks who were saying that they're having a really tough time, or I should say healthcare leadership folks who were talking about their employees, this kind of next generation who has moved into adulthood and into the workforce. The challenge that they're having is that they can't get these folks, these kids as I'll call them, to put their phones down. So I addressed that issue in terms of a dopamine response, and that the learned behavior we're seeing from this generation through the COVID safety measures was they found solace in social media and their phones. And that's how they stayed connected with their friends when they couldn't be out and about seeing each other and engaging through human contact with their friends. So I was referring to this idea that we need to unlearn that behavior and we need to relearn behavior through more sustained dopamine responses like a long-term goal. The additional piece to that is that we have created kind of a generation of messed up young adults that are entering into the workforce and they don't know how to behave. They're kind of traumatized. And if we think back about what a level 2 trauma is, it is repeated and prolonged incidents of an interpersonal nature. So that is a trauma response. I also think I referenced this related to the Gen Z stare of not knowing how to engage with someone, a customer who comes in, for example, so they'll just kind of stare. So just a few minutes ago, I was chatting with a psychiatrist that I know through a professional association. His name is Dr. Jeffrey Hopkins, a psychiatrist. And I was kind of posing my hypothesis to him, and his responses were so interesting. So he confirmed this idea that from a psychological or psychological, I guess, mental health related issue is that, yes, this is a generation who should have been spending that time engaging collegiately through their college classes, their vocational learning opportunities, their first or maybe second job in the workplace. And they would have been learning those behaviors that would have matured or helped to mature this frontal cortex over time. Those behaviors were what's the word I want? They were stymied. They weren't allowed to develop at that time because they were functioning in a place of isolation. So he said, worse yet was kind of that high school age student who wasn't necessarily required to be in a classroom. So he said when his son was in high school, at best, the teachers were happy if kids even logged in to the computer. There really was no expectation that the kids would turn on their computer and log in, let alone even turn it on. Or they would log in, turn it on, and then walk away and go do something else. So he says, through his medical expertise, that it really has created accountability issues. Because during that time, there was nothing that held this younger generation accountable for their behavior, their commitment to doing something, their ability to follow through with a particular task or skill set. And so all of these things have combined to make it very difficult for this generation of now adults, young adults, even those that have matured a bit, to interface within adult situations. So I think this is a really important, compelling message. These are individuals that are going to be entering into your workforce. And I think it's important and imperative for all of us to find ways to engage with these younger adults as they come into the workforce, understand that their brains developed completely differently than the brains of most folks who have been in the workforce for a number of years, or probably will enter into the workforce within the next generation. It's really, I think, imperative that we do something about this, because this is not only going to impact every employer out there, it's going to impact an entire generation with compounding and repeated trauma as they cannot be successful functioning this way. We, as the adults, the older adult employers and leaders, we really have an opportunity to step up to the plate and provide them with some nourishment and some mentoring and some guidance that's going to help them unlearn that behavior, reconfigure their neural pathways, which can be done within about 30 days, and mentor and guide them into a place where they can be engaged and they can be successful. If we just take this on as it's just this generation and shame on them, we've got to own that. We've got to have some accountability in that ourselves. So it's up to us to reshape this generation and ensure that we have a thriving workforce. Not only is it going to impact employers across the board and our ability to have businesses that are functioning to the top of the capability of the business itself, but it's also going to have a really profound impact on healthcare, which is already struggling and suffering and suffocating under its own weight from a very complicated system. All right, so that's our opportunity. That's my challenge to you. So thanks for listening. Thanks for being part of the conversation. I would love it if you would leave a comment, your thoughts around some of this and what we can do collectively to help this entire generation not only heal, but to ensure that we have good engagement and strong businesses within our communities. So if this content resonated with you, please like, share, subscribe. And as always, like I say, I love to engage with the comments. So thank you so much. Again, Danielle Lord, Archetype Learning Solutions, and hope to see you back next time.